this one carries tremendous significance because first place is at stake in the NFC Central. The Bears lead by 1 game. A Packer win today will move them into a tie for first place, but by virtue of sweeping the season series, the Packers in essence would take over the lead. So it is a big one, everyone, and we welcome you to Green Bay. What can be better than this atmosphere? Dick Stockton along with Troy Aikman and Moose Johnston. Moose, when you talk about the Bears right now, the #1 seed in the NFC, people are disbelieving. They say this team is lucky. They're not that good, and they have a lot of convincing to do still, apparently.
Well, they've got an opportunity this afternoon to get some respect around the football world, and you touched on it, a little bit of luck so far this season. 2 dramatic overtime victories, 2 other games where field goals were missed late, and then also the philosophy of playing good special teams, having a strong defense, and managing your offense. I think that is the perception around the league why this has happened. Today, offensively, they have got to get the ball down the field to Marty Booker. He's the guy that's going to need to get the chunks of yardage, but last time they were able to shut down Anthony Thomas, the Green Bay defense was, and that is bad for this Chicago Bears offense.
Well, the Bears are happy that Thomas is back in the lineup after missing a couple of games with a hamstring pull. And Troy, when you talk about the Packers, what we saw on Monday night with Brett Favre bringing them back against Jacksonville, if they have Brett Favre, they always have a chance.
Well, that's exactly right. And Brett is having arguably the best season that he's had since his MVP season of 1997. Some would say that that's because he's healthy for the first time in a couple of years. Others would say it's because of the play of his wide receivers. I believe the reason that Brett Favre is playing so well is because of the presence of Ahman Green. He leads the team in rushing. He also leads the team in receiving. And in order for the Chicago Bears to have any kind of chance today, they have got to find ways to stop him and not number 4 Brett Favre.
Well, the Packers won the previous meeting in Chicago, and what does that mean? Well, the visiting team has won the last 6 games between these longtime rivals. Coming up, once again, it'll be the Bears and the Packers.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Here at Lambeau Field, it is 28 degrees and less than that with a wind chill. The wind about 12 miles an hour coming out of the south. As the Packers and the Bears get set to hook up, the Packers have won the toss and they will get the ball first. The oldest series in the NFL, the Packers have been the hot team as of late. As we mentioned, the visiting team has won the last 6, so Dick Duran has only known victory here at Lambeau Field in his 2 previous games, and a game of this significance brings out many of the greats, including Reggie White, who led the Packers in sacks for 5 years and a great defensive end in the NFL.
Oh, what a great player he was over the course of his career, and a guy who still has very much a presence within this Green Bay organization.
This game has never had so much meaning here at Lambeau Field this late in the season, with the teams in first and second place separated by only 1 game in the 162 game history. So it carries a lot, and Jim Miller will try to get enough points on the board for the Chicago Bears. As Moose mentioned, they depend on defense, special teams, the kicking of Paul Edinger. Back deep to return for the Packers, Dorsey Levens and Herbert Goodman, number 29. So we're set to go in another edition, and it's a low squibbling kick, and it is picked up at the 25-yard line by William Henderson, the fullback, and Henderson will give the Packers pretty good field position for their first series at the 37-yard line. The offensive line for the Packers, Mike Flanagan is the center. Marco Rivera playing with a broken left hand and a heavy cast. Clifton and Tauscher are the tackles. Bill Schrader and Antonio Freeman are the receivers. Ahman Green, the sensational running back. And the quarterback, Brett Favre, who has thrown more touchdown passes against the Bears than against any other team he's faced. From the 36-yard line and passing on first down, and it's intended for Antonio Freeman and incomplete. Defensively for the Chicago Bears. And a defensive line, Keith Traylor and Ted Washington, the newcomers, have been magnificent at defensive tackle. Warwick Coleman and Roosevelt Colvin playing big time with Brian Urlacher in the middle. The secondary, R.W. McQuarters and Walt Harris are the cornerbacks Tony Parrish and Mike Brown, the safeties. Amon Green and Dorsey Levens are both in the backfield at the same time out of the shotgun, and here comes the blitz. And Favre escapes it, and his pass is complete to Freeman. Wide open down the middle of the field, and Antonio Freeman gets down to the Bear 31-yard line and a 33-yard gain.
Well, just a nice job with protection right there. You're going to see Amon Green right here, and he's going to be blocking Mike Brown coming off the edge with the blitz. Brett Favre has the time, sits in the pocket, and delivers the throw, and he's got Antonio Freeman working over the middle of the ball that was vacated by the blitz, and just a nice job of execution by Brett Favre and Antonio Freeman, and a nice job of blocking by Amon Green.
From the 31-yard line, and the Packers threaten. They give us to Amon Green, and Green gets to the 30-yard line. Green gained 93 yards in the first meeting against these teams, averaging over 5 yards a carry.
In that first game, they also didn't put a lot of pressure on Brett Favre, and they were questioned for that approach. And you could see just by that last play, just because you're bringing pressure doesn't mean you're going to be successful. This guy has seen everything throughout his career, and if they're going to do that and the Packers are able to pick it up like that, he's going to continue to make big plays down the field in the passing game.
Corey Bradford is the third wide receiver on 2nd and 9. And out of the shotgun, here is Amon Green off the left tackle, and a big block that time. And Roosevelt Colvin makes the tackle, but not before a 7-yard pickup.
William Henderson just does a tremendous job blocking, and they brought in some guys. You're going to see it on Mike Green. Here's William Henderson. He'll come across. Watch him finish right here on Mike Green. That is what you do as a fullback. You keep your feet moving on contact and take him right to the ground.
Yeah, not only does he block Mike Green, but he also pushes him back into Roosevelt Colvin, so Roosevelt's not able to get in on the tackle as early as what he'd like to have.
3rd down and 2. So Levens is in there. And again out of the shotgun. Bill Schrader going in motion, and Brett Favre going up the middle, and it is caught by Schrader and appears to be enough for the first down. It is Jerry Azuma, the nickelback, making the tackle, but the Packers have a first down on the Bear 20.
We already see a little bit of a chess game going on between the two coordinators right there, and one up for the Packers. They knew that the Bears would come in and go to that 46 defense. They had it on right there. That's one of the ways that they wanted to get pressure on Brett Favre, and again, he delivers the pass for a first down.
The Green Bay Packers are 8-3 for the first time since their last Super Bowl trip, and Greg Schloss, the defensive coordinator, trying to find answers here. First down on the 20, and wide open is William Henderson, and the fullback getting down to the 5, and another first down. Urlacher on the coverage, and these Packer receivers have been wide open on this first drive.
Well, they've done a nice job. They've really done a nice job in the last few games. You're going to see William Henderson going in motion there. He's running an angle route. Urlacher overruns him, and it allows Henderson to get up inside. Just nobody in there after Urlacher overran him, thinking he was going to go to the flat.
So it'll be 1st and goal at the 4, and David Martin joins Bubba Franks, 2 tight ends. The Bears have not allowed any points this year on the opening drive, and that is in jeopardy. 1st and goal at the 4. Here is Green, and Green gets maybe a yard at the most.
Down here, this is one of the areas where they've been very successful getting the ball into Bubba Franks' hand. Another guy, the tight end. You talked about the 2 tight end package on that previous play. And David Martin is also a guy they're starting to utilize more down here in the red zone.
2nd and goal at the 3. Bubba Franks with 7 touchdown catches this year.
52.
And they're lining up Frank Winters as reported, and he's lining up as a tight end. Henderson is split in motion to the right, and here's the pass, and it's intended for Green, and a great play made that time by Warwick Holman, knocking the ball away, bringing up 3rd and goal.
That play got disrupted very early by Keith Traylor, got some tremendous penetration into the front and forced Brett Favre to get that play away. You like to get out on the corner and let this play develop, but with Keith Traylor, you'll see him right here. He's just going to come upfield right away. That's what happens when you pull people down on the goal line. And he's the reason that play was unsuccessful.
So Traylor goes out of the game. 3rd and goal at the 3. And they spread the defense with 3 wideouts. Freeman in motion. And here is Favre. And the pass is caught and touchdown. Freeman gets over for the score. McQuarter's questioning it, but the ball crossed the plane and the Packers score on their first possession.
Well, you take a look at it here. Antonio Freeman running a flat route. Brett Favre sticking it on him early.
Bill Schrader gets away with a pick right there. He came from the outside in. Made it look as though he was trying to get across the middle, but a nice job picking the defender coming out in the flat to pick up Antonio Freeman.
Ryan Longwell with the extra point. So the Packers strike quickly on the 3-yard pass to Freeman and take a 7-0 lead over the Bears.
Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36.
Fans in Green Bay delighted over the 9-play, 64-yard drive, and Antonio Freeman catching the touchdown pass and the 33-yard reception, the big play leading to it. And Ryan Longwell will kick off. Jim Miller getting set to bring his crew aboard. Leon Johnson and Autry Denson are back deep as the ball goes off the tee.
Yeah, and you talk about how that last drive was set up for the Green Bay Packers. One of the things that the Chicago Bears wants to do is they want to pin Green Bay back in their own territory. They were unable to. William Henderson gets the opening kickoff and sets up great field position, which allowed the Packers to go down and get a touchdown.
Bears figured that would be an advantage for them today, that aspect of the game. So Longwell's now with the kick, and it is a short end-over-end kick, and Leon Johnson getting the return, and the Bears don't have bad field position either, as Johnson, who has scored the only Bear touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, brings it out to the 38. But Brett Favre is 1-up on the Bears.
Dear Kurt.
Leading the Bears 7-0. Jim Miller making his 5th consecutive start. Did not begin the year. Shane Matthews did. And he came in a bruised hip. Knocked him out for a game, and here he is, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. And Anthony Thomas back into the lineup after missing 2 games with an injury, gets 5 on the first play of the game. The offensive line, and they have been the stalwart for Chicago with Brockermeyer, Tucker, Kreutz, Valerio, and James Big Cat Williams at right tackle. Thomas is back, but we'll see James Allen as well. Booker, their top receiver, with Des White. Damon Shelton, the fullback. And tight end is Fred Baxter. David Terrell is in the game as the 2nd wide receiver on 2nd and 5 at the 43. The tight end Baxter in motion. A pump fake by Miller going up the middle, and the pass is incomplete, and no flag is down. No flag has been thrown. Terrell was defended by Mike McKenzie. And you almost have to say, where is it? When is it coming? But it never came.
Well, you keep waiting for the flag. You're absolutely right, Dick, and it did never come. You watch Mike McKenzie working against David Terrell. Mike McKenzie is all over him right there when the ball was in the air. They had a referee right there to make the call. How he doesn't make that, I don't know. That's textbook pass interference.
Well, we've seen flags thrown when you just nudge a guy, and that one was pretty emphatic. In any event, 3rd and 5 at the 43. James Allen in the game at running back, and Miller going underneath, incomplete. He was going for Allen. And so the Bears are 3 and out on their first possession and will have to kick.
Well, one of the things that the Green Bay Packers did there was they go to a 3-man rush, and they only rush 3, so they're dropping 8 guys. And the Chicago Bears are known for wanting to throw within that 5 to 10-yard range. And when you've got that many guys dropping into those spaces, there's just not a lot of air to throw the football.
Charles Lee, returning only his 2nd punt of the season, will be back deep. And Brad Maynard, who has been, according to Dick Duran, one of the stars for the Bears this year. As far as field position is concerned, this kick not exceptionally long, bounces on the 20. Lee picking it up at the 13, and he barely gets back to the 20-yard line. So each team has had a chance on offense. The Packers have scored. And we'll be right back. Bears head coach Dick Duran, normally not a man of emotion, not showing that much here, but he is obviously disturbed over the lack of that pass interference call as he talks things over with the side judge Ken Baker. Packers beginning from the 19-yard line. Corey Bradford and Donald Driver are the wide receiver split. Pump fake, and the pass is batted down at the line by Keith Traylor. Second down coming up. Big plays from that first drive.
Yeah, right here when Brett Favre had time because of Amon Green's block right there to Antonio Freeman, which helped set up the yardage.
And then down in the red zone, you got to have a guy that finds a way to get the ball in the end zone, and you can see Antonio Freeman get it in there as he rotates around to get it inside that pylon.
Yeah, and Antonio Freeman, he's a guy who's really become Brett Favre's big target here over about the last 5-6 ball games and has really played well and picked up his level.
So continuing to climb along the quarterback leaders is Brett Favre, and on 2nd and 10, Amon Green charges forward and picks up about 4 on the play. And right now for a game break, let's check in with our buddy James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey,
JB.
Aeneas Williams picked off San Francisco. The drive was kept alive. Rams went for a field goal. There was a penalty against San Francisco. That kept the drive alive. And guess what? Marshall Faulk capitalizes with that 6-yard run. 7-0 Rams. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darryl.
And guys, first place at stake there with the Rams winning the previous game.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are overlooking Atlanta and New Orleans battling it out for that possibly last playoff spot also. So that's becoming one of the better divisions in the NFL this year.
No question. Meanwhile, 3rd and 6, and Favre out of the shotgun, hands off to Dorsey Levens, nothing there, and the Bears defense clamps down, led by McQuarters and Daniels.
You know, you talk about the play of Chicago's defense and what they've been able to accomplish this year, and it's really been a group effort. I think it all starts really up front with Keith Traylor and Ted Washington and the job that they're able to do in stuffing the run down inside. Then you've got great linebackers who are able to fly around from sideline to sideline. They've just done a fabulous job playing as a team all year.
Josh Bidwell will punt, and back deep Leon Johnson for the Bears. None of these kicks have gone far. This one hangs pretty well, and Leon Johnson fumbles it, muffs it, and the ball is recovered by the Bears. Wow. Leon Johnson lost the ball, and it was nearly recovered by Rob Davis, but look at that stuff on his helmet, but Leon Johnson got it back.
He cannot believe that he let this ball get away. You'll see as he comes in, there's nobody else around. He's right there, and he just goes right over the top, and it squirts right out his legs. Leon Johnson right there to make up amends for that mistake.
Neither one of these teams have been careless this way all year. We'll be back.
In a time of
Played for these teams, looking at some of them here at Lambeau Field. The Bears trailing 7-0 from the 28-yard line, and the handoff is to Anthony Thomas, and Thomas gets a good 3.5 yards on the play.
Well, this is one of those things you don't expect to see. This is Rob Davis right here. He's your long snapper, number 60. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the long snapper on the punt team, and unfortunately, just right through the legs out the back door.
His once-in-a-lifetime opportunity just got blown.
Yeah, you're not going to see that happen probably for the rest of his career.
2nd and 6 at the 32 for the Bears. Continue to play a conservative brand of football, but it's worked for him, and this time Anthony Thomas is stopped at the 35-yard line, still about 3 yards shy of the first down. Defensively for the Packers, Cledius Hunt starting in the place of John Theory at defensive end. Jim Flanagan is in there for the injured Gilbert Brown. Nate Wayne, Bernardo Harris, and Niall Diggs are the linebackers. Tyrone Williams and Mike McKenzie are the corners. Darren Sharper and the rookie Baju, who's had to come in for one of the greats. There's Gilbert Brown out with a toe injury. Leroy Butler, of course, the other star defensive player out of there. 3rd down and 3, and the pass thrown wide open. Des White, first down, and White goes down close to the 45-yard line after 9.
Packers right there all dropping deep, and you talked about it earlier, Troy. The Bears like to throw the ball into the short and intermediate areas and let the receiver run for the first down, and they just totally vacated everything underneath there short.
Yeah, they left it wide open there for Des White at that linebacker level, and if there's one route that the Chicago Bears are going to throw today, it's that crossing route. Usually Marty Booker is the guy that's running it, but they also, as you saw right there, they'll utilize Des White also.
James Allen is the setback. First down on the 44. On play action, the pass going outside of Fred Baxter. And Baxter picking up about 4 yards with Bernardo Harris, the middle linebacker, on the tackle.
Yeah, and Fred Baxter is a guy who they need to get more involved in this offense. He's had 1 catch in the last 2 ball games. That makes his 2nd reception. And if they're going to have success against the Green Bay Packers, they have got to be able to get down the middle of the field, and they've got to be able to do it with Fred Baxter.
And brought in from the Jets mainly as a blocker, but he does have very good hands. I'm surprised that they haven't found a way to fit him into their passing game a little bit more frequently this season.
Anthony Thomas now the back on 2nd and 6. Tight formation, and the pitch goes to Thomas, blocking on the right side. And Anthony Thomas getting his way to midfield, still 4 yards short of the first down. And once again, Bernardo Harris right in the middle of it.
You know, one thing that you're going to see from the Chicago Bears is that they like to bunch their receivers up right there. And a lot of teams will do that in order to disguise passing situation. The Bears use that formation primarily to set up the run. They want those wide receivers in there tight. They want them to get in there and try to root those linebackers and safeties out of the way in the running game.
And they think that their offensive linemen out on the perimeter hitting the cornerbacks and the safeties will wear them down in the passing game later on.
Leon Johnson goes wide right on 3rd down and 5 at the 49-yard line. Booker follows him that way. Miller being pushed back momentarily, going underneath, and Anthony Thomas on the reception. And he may be short of the first down. It all will depend on the spot. Todd McBride in on the play, and a measurement could be coming up.
Well, one thing that you've noticed is that Chicago Bears offensively want to move a lot of people, and they want to do a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. Right there, as you mentioned, they shift Leon Johnson out wide. They then come in motion with Marty Booker. They wanted to throw backside one-on-one to Des White. He was covered, but they were able to get the ball back up inside and see if they had this first down.
Packers leading 7-0, scoring on their first drive, and they are short by, it seems, the length of a football. Less than that. The ball at the 46-yard line of the Packers. Now, Dick Duran, it's been a conservative situation, but coming on is Jim Miller, John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, and the Bears appear to be going for it on 4th and inches.
Well, you know, in this situation, at this point in the ball game, when the ball's where it is at midfield, it says one of 2 things. One, Duran has tremendous confidence in his guys up front in order to get that yard, or 2, he has tremendous confidence in his defense if they're unable to do it, because as Dick Duran told us all night yesterday, this was going to be a game of field position. They immediately give up field position if they don't pick up this first down.
So here it is, 4th down and less than 1. Quarterback sneak, and Miller is going to make it. It first looked as if Miller wasn't going anywhere, but he bounced off the line and dives forward to a first down inside the 45.
That was a lot of Jim Miller right there. There wasn't, he got jammed pretty good at the line of scrimmage. Didn't look like he was going to make the first down. Was able to get back outside. You watch him here, and he tries going over the right side, Chris Valerio and Big Cat Williams, and he went all the way outside of the tackle box. You see Big Cat Williams, 71 there, getting up a little bit high, but at least Jim Miller was able to see that it was clogged up and get outside.
And Nate Wayne is the injured Packer on the field.
And Niall Diggs, the player that made the tackle right there, got caught up a little bit outside, allowed Jim Miller to break contain a little bit on that one.
Still working on Nate Wayne, who's the Packers' leading tackler, and Dick Duran, who told us last night, guys, that we can't win living on field goals. He says we're going to have to get touchdowns, and this is the injury for Wayne.
Here's Nate Wayne right here. You see Leon Johnson coming in from the side right there, and that's just a nice play by Leon Johnson. You got to seal the outside on the quarterback sneak, not allow that edge perimeter guy to come in. Leon Johnson just finishing his play right there. Hard to see what happened to Nate on the play. Maybe got him in the ribs a little bit, knocked the wind out of him, but He's still down on the ground.
All right, and while Wayne starts to get up, we're going to take you to Los Angeles. A game breakdown from James Wayne.
They're trailing 7-0 to the Falcons. The Saints resort to trickery. Aaron Brooks to Deuce McAllister. The option to Willie Jackson. That tied it at 7. The ensuing kickoff, Atlanta fumbled. Ricky Williams with the 6th touchdown of the season. Saints on top 14-7. Back to Dick, Troy, and Daryl.
And as Moose pointed out, with both teams at 6 and 5, very much in contention for a wild card berth, at least, as Wayne is being helped off the field and replaced by Chris Gizzi.
Yeah, and this is a big blow to this Packer defense. You know, Nate Wayne, their leading tackler on the defense, and what he's been able to do over the course of this season. And now Chris Gizzi is going to step in, and a guy who's been used primarily in special teams, he's going to get a shot now to play some linebacker.
And Wayne already has made 5 tackles today, so a loss for Mike Sherman in his 2nd year as coach of the team. Banking a lot on the Lambeau crowd, although the visitors have dominated lately, and the turnover story. And the Packers very nearly had one of those. So the Bears 1st and 10 at the 44 after being successful on 4th down. Anthony Thomas getting the call, and Thomas backing his way inside the 40-yard line for a pickup of 5.
Again, the Bears offensive line, and you talked about it on the 4th and short, Troy. One of the strengths of the offensive group, really this whole football team, is this offensive line. And that's going to be a challenge for this Packer defense because they do a lot of different things. And there is one of the biggest reasons they've played together. The chemistry you develop over the course of the season, you get to know the strengths of the guy next to you. And that is why they can be a conservative offense.
2nd down and 4. And here is Thomas. And Thomas will be stopped 2 yards short of the sticks by Santana Dotson. This is a team, the Bears, who have scored 13 points in each of their last 2 games, and that's been enough for victories.
Well, they're 9-0 when they score 13 points, but as we all know, 13 points in the National Football League most of the times will not win you very many football games. They're playing against a pretty explosive offense in the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to have to score more than that today. They're going to have to be able to make some big plays, and that's been the element of their game offensively that they have not had.
Kabir Bajabiamila is into the game, the pass rusher extraordinaire. 3rd and 3 at the 37, empty backfield, and the pass is knocked away, intended for Baxter, and it was Bao Ju, who has big shoes to fill with Leroy Butler on the injured reserve, and that will bring up 4th down.
And this is one of the things that we will talk about all afternoon, is the fact that there's really nobody downfield. Watch all your receivers and watch the depths that they get to. They're stretching the field horizontally. There you go. Everybody's stopping right in those areas right there, just a little bit past the yard marker. They don't threaten anybody into the deeper areas of the football field.
You know what surprised me is they split out Anthony Thomas. They had him working against a linebacker, Bernardo Harris, and they didn't even look his way to get him the football.
Brad Maynard will do the kicking at midfield. He'll just try to pooch kick and keep it in there. Darren Sharper back deep for the Packers, fields it on the fair catch, and the Bears and Maynard get the job done. 7-0 Green Bay.
So you're a sports fan.
Nate Wayne is suffering a bruised hip, and it's questionable as to whether he will return. Chicago Bears using up 6 minutes with 10 plays and coming up with nothing on their offensive drive, and so now the Packers go back to work on the 15-yard line with Brett Favre. Favre throwing on 1st down, drills it, and the pass knocked away, incomplete, intended for Antonio Freeman, and McQuarters on the coverage. Well, next Saturday, a Fox NFL special as the Arizona Cardinals, who have come alive with 3 in a row, play against the New York Giants. Both those teams coming in at 5 and 6 this week. So the Cardinals and the Giants, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, for the pregame show next Saturday. 2nd down and 10 in the waning minutes of the 1st quarter. Driver in motion, and the fake end around, the handoff to Amon Green, and he picks up 3. So it'll be 3rd down coming up with Mike Green on the tackle.
You take a look at Amon Green, and the year that he is having, and he has been such a surprise for this football team. And you talk about what he's able to do running the football. He's outstanding when it comes to that. He's averaging 4.7 yards per carry. But the other biggest surprise is that he is leading this team in receptions, and it is a big part of this team's passing game.
And he's got Dorsey Levens again in the backfield with him at the same time. Levens, the former chief running back before he got hurt. So on third down, here's Schrader open downfield using his speed and going out of bounds after a solid gain close to the 45-yard line of 24 yards.
Well, you talk about a team that likes to bring pressure, and what Green Bay is doing right now, they're picking it up and they're making the Bears pay for it. Right here, Brian Urlacher against Chad Clifton on the outside, and there you see the throw come in underneath. And right now we've seen two good pressures by the Chicago Bears defense, but it has resulted in two big plays for the Green Bay Packer offense.
And Brett Favre seeking his 100th regular season victory as a quarterback. 1st and 10 at the 40. And off to Green, and Amon Green gets 4 on the play with Philip Daniels on the stop. Time running out. This will be it for the first quarter. As you see on our Fox box, the Browns jumping up in front of New England. So the opening drive score by the Packers holds up at least for 1 quarter, and that is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Packers 7 and the Bears nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Second quarter here at Lambeau Field. The Packers lead the Bears 7-0. Brett Favre with his 25th touchdown pass came in tied with Jeff Garcia for the league lead, and Freeman with the touchdown reception, his 6th of the year. Packers with 2nd down and 6 at the 44. Amon Green, and Green is stopped short about 3 yards shy of the first down. Again, Philip Daniels on the tackle.
Philip Daniels is a guy that I don't think gets enough credit on this Bears defense. I think a lot of people will talk about Ted and Keith inside the big tackles and what they enable Brian Urlacher to do, but the complete guy on the defensive line to me is Philip Daniels. Great pressure on the quarterback, but also a good run defender on the outside.
Philip Daniels had a shoulder injury, actually a collision with his line mate Keith Traylor last week, but he has recovered enough to play, as has Brian Robinson, who had a knee problem. 3rd down and 3 with Levens and Green again in the backfield. Out of the shotgun is Brett Favre, and he's got plenty of time, and his pass through the fingers of Antonio Freeman, who was covered downfield by Walt Harris.
Yeah, and the Bears played him man coverage right there, which, Brett really likes going against these teams that want to challenge him with man coverage. He had the man coverage with Antonio Freeman. They just failed to connect on that play, but he had a shot at him.
So Leon Johnson going back and shading his eyes from the sun. Josh Bidwell, whose first kick went 48 yards.
It's gone.
Another good one. This one is deep, and Johnson will let it sail into the end zone, and it will be a touchback. So in the first minute of play in the second quarter, the Packers lead. The Bears go on offense again.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. By Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Never miss a genuine opportunity. And by Citizen EcoDrive, a revolutionary watch that never needs a battery.
Well, we know one autograph that Troy gave while he was been here in Green Bay. One of many, we might add, as the Bears on the 20-yard line. Anthony Thomas has gained 20 yards and 6 carries, but the Bears trail. Now they send Thomas in motion wide to the left, and Miller has some time, and he slings it across to Des White, and White gets socked out of bounds after picking up the first down by Niall Diggs, and a 13-yard pickup, a Chicago first down.
Well, you take a look at what Jim Miller's done in the passing game, and as you can see, everything that he's thrown, the 7 passes have been under 10 yards. That last completion right there to Des White, even though they wound up getting 14, 15 yards, still completed at about the 4-yard range. And as we've talked about, that's a real staple in their offense, is throwing that 4 or 5 yard crossing route.
1st and 10 at the 33, and the handoff, and it looked like a mix-up in the backfield, and Billy Lyon gets Thomas for a loss of 3 on the play as we check in with James Brown for another game break. JB.
Hey, Dick, Troy and Darrell know what it's like to play on a team with a lot of weapons. Take a look at the Rams' Kurt Warner. Who does he find this time? Ricky Prohl with that 15-yard strike. Talk about an embarrassment of riches. 14-0 St. Louis. Frisco, no first downs in the first quarter, that is. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darrell.
Boy, Kurt Warner, he's just a completely different quarterback when he's playing in the confines of home there in St. Louis.
2nd down and 13 from the 30-yard line. Spreading the defense with 3 wide receivers. Miller gets away from trouble, and he dumps it out to Thomas. And Thomas, who caught 5 passes in these teams' first meeting, gets minimal gain on the play with Harris and Chris Gizzi making the stop.
One of the things that this Bears offense cannot afford to do is have negative plays on 1st down and force them into 2nd and longs. Right now they're staring at 3rd and 9, and that is not the position that this offense is going to try and get in. They throw the ball underneath, they will run it, and their primary objective is to get into the 3rd and short and 3rd mediums.
James Allen, David Terrell have come in the game. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, and here's Kabir Baji-Biamila right there.
Lining up on the right side. 3rd and 9. And Miller goes underneath to Baxter, the tight end. He won't get there. He is stopped at the 40-yard line, 3 yards shy by Keith Thibodeau.
Well, we pointed out Kabir Baji-Biamila. He's their pass rush specialist. He's going to be at the top. There he is right here. He's working against Blake Brockermeyer. He comes underneath, puts the pressure on Jim Miller, which makes him get rid of the football a little bit early. And this is a guy who's got a couple of different moves, and he's very relentless, and he has been doing an outstanding job getting pressure on quarterbacks week in and week out for this Green Bay team.
After a drought, Biamila now with 12 sacks, second to Michael Strahan of the Giants. Brad Maynard with the punt. Charles Lee back at the 20-yard line for the Packers. And what a takedown there at the 16 by Jerry Azuma. Boy, Azuma meant business there on the tackle of Lee. We'll be right back. Packers lead by 7.
Well, Brad Maynard has been talked about as one of the key contributors to this team, but you got to have a guy like Jerry Azuma on the outside. He does everything the way he's supposed to. Keeps the returner on his upfield shoulder. He's got outside contain and makes the tackle. You got to have those guys if you're going to have an effective punter.
Packers have brought in Mark Tauscher at right guard from right tackle, Earl Dotson at right tackle with Marco Rivera out now. He has that broken hand, and the first down play to Amon Green, and Green picking up about 5 on the play as we check in with Pam Oliver. Pam.
All right, Dick, Packers defense continues to sustain injuries. Linebacker Nate Wayne, he is currently in the locker room getting some x-rays on his sore back. He was actually kicked in the back. That is what caused that injury, and his return is questionable.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. And Chris Gizzi replaced him at linebacker. Meanwhile, Brett Favre brings the Pack to the line, 2nd and 5 at the 21. And they'll keep it on the ground and hit. And a great play as Amon Green is hit by Keith Traylor. And a loss on the play.
Well, we talk about the run stuffing abilities of, there's Keith Traylor right there, number 94. He's going to work up the field pretty much unblocked. And once he gets a head of steam going, the back has no chance there.
And the big thing going against Mark Tauscher, who just moved in from right tackle into the right guard spot. This is going to be his first action playing guard in his NFL career.
So anytime you have changes on the offensive line, either at the beginning of the game or during the game, that could present some problems. 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Brett Favre on the screen pass to Amon Green. Green's going to get the first down and still has blocking downfield. Amon Green stays on his feet, and it goes out of bounds in Chicago territory after picking up 38 yards by Parrish.
You just watch the job here. They're setting up the screen, and a little middle screen there to Amon Green, and you look at the blockers that are out there in front of him, and Amon Green does a nice job of setting the blocks up, staying behind him and utilizing those guys out in front, and then picking his lane and getting as much yardage out of the play as he could.
They caught him in man coverage, too. A great time to call a screen when everybody's running downfield with their receivers.
Packers with a first down on the Bear 45-yard line. And on the end around, it's Donald Driver. And Driver is hit and knocked out by Mike Brown, who the early season hero, who's still who's limping getting up with those 2 overtime interceptions, prevented a bigger lead than 8.
Well, it was a nice job by Mike Brown making the tackle there in the open field, because Corey Bradford, the wide receiver for Green Bay Packers, he had his corner sealed, and if Mike Brown doesn't make that tackle, that play goes for another 15 or 20 yards.
Maybe for a touchdown.
Brett Favre has gone over 3,000 yards for an NFL record 10th consecutive year. 2nd down and 2. Schrader, and Schrader is tackled for the first down on the 29-yard line of the Bears by Harris and Holdman.
Well, right now, what Greg Blosch was concerned about, and you see right there Brett Favre's numbers for the 10th straight 3,000-yard season, and a lot of that has to do with some of the big plays he's had so far this first half, and that's what Greg Blosch wanted to avoid. The big pass to Antonio Freeman on the opening drive for the touchdown. This drive, it was the screen pass to Amon Green. He was trying to avoid those this game, but so far has been unsuccessful.
2nd down and 1st and 10. Dorsey Levens getting a chance, and the Levens off the right side, picking up 3 yards with Holdman making the tackle.
Yeah, and Dorsey Levens, you know, we had a chance to see him at practice on Friday, and he is running very well. He's healthy really for the first time this season. He's at 100%, doing a nice job. They want to utilize him more than what they've been able to. It's just hard to get him in the game and take Amon Green out. So what they've done, and they've done it some here today, is that they'll use both of them. They'll put Amon Green at running back. They'll use Dorsey Levens some at fullback. But he's too valuable of a player not to let him get some carries.
That was his 30th carry of the year. 2nd down and 8, and Favre fakes out the defender and completes the pass on the right side to Bubba Franks, the tight end. And it might have been Brian Robinson in the backfield who got faked out by the spin move of Brett Favre, and as a result, a 5-yard pickup for the Packers.
Well, and that's Brett Favre right there. You take a look at what he's able to do to avoid the rush. He's stepping up, getting ready to throw, and he gets pressure there by Brian Robinson, and the fact that he's able to make him miss and still come back and deliver a throw and get yards out of that. You know, you talk about Brett, he talks about his old man back and how he's aged over the years. He doesn't move that well, but what he does do is he moves extremely well still within the pocket and makes people miss.
3rd down and 3, and the handoff to Green, and the Bears are there. And Ryan Urlacher quickly in along with Philip Daniels.
One of these plays that we've seen before on tape, and it did not fool Brian Urlacher. You see right there, he didn't go for that little jump pass fake. And look at the way he sorts his way through all the blockers to find that opening to get to Amon Green.
Ryan Urlacher, very popular man in Chicago these days, writes about his life on and off the field on foxsports.com in a weekly feature called Being Ryan Urlacher. Ryan Longwell with a 41-yard field goal attempt. He has been struggling, and this kick is no good. It hits the upright on the right and bounces off. Longwell has missed more field goals this year than ever in his career. Here is the way it sounded. Ryan Longwell has struggled in the kicking department, 0 for 2 with 1 block last week. He's missed more this year, 8 than ever in his career. So you look at the Packers doing well offensively and coming up with nothing. Bears still trail 7-0. They start from the 31-yard line with Anthony Thomas, and Thomas picking up about 7 yards on that play. Sharper and Harris bring him down. Well, the Chicago Bears punting on their first 3 possessions. John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, believes in what his team does. They go back to it, very basic, very fundamental, where execution is the whole deal. 2nd down and 3. Thomas gets hit short of the first down by 1.5 yards as we send it to James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick, finally a score in that Detroit-Tampa Bay contest. Take a look at Mike Allstott, 24-yard run. Boom! Punishing Todd Light right there as he rumbles on in for the score. 7-0 Tampa Bay. That in the second over Detroit. Back to Dick, Troy, and Darryl.
Well, the Bucks making their usual late run, hopefully, to get into the playoffs.
Another one of those 6-5 teams is going to be battling down the stretch for one of those last spots.
Leon Johnson is the back, 3rd and 1 with 2 tight ends. And the handoff is to Johnson. He's knocked back, but let's see where his forward progress is marked.
That's going to be close. I'm not so sure he got it based on where they're trying to spot this ball right now.
Remember, the Bears had a 4th down and less than a yard and went for it and made it, but it was in the Green Bay end of the field. So now it is marked, and I agree with you, Troy. From where it appears, the Bears came up short. They'll come on with the chains nonetheless.
Well, I think you said it best, Dick, just a few minutes ago when you're talking about, you know, what the Bears do. The Bears are going to give the ball to Anthony Thomas and let him run, and they're going to continue to give him the ball. As you can see there, they are in fact short of the 1st down. Now, well, they got the punt team out. I was going to say they went for it in this situation before, but at this point and at this area of the field, that's the only decision you can make is punt.
You got to send down your MVP, you know, send Brad Maynard out there.
That's right. There's many players on the Chicago Bear team that at the midway point were picking their MVPs, and many of them did in fact pick Brad Maynard as the most valuable player.
Some of these comments soaked with sarcasm here in our booth. In any event, Brad Maynard will kick, and Darren Sharper going back deep for the Packers. And Maynard with a good kick as far as hang time goes and as far as everything goes, as the Bears will down it inside the 15-yard line. So Maynard remains the MVP of this club, but the Bears trail 7-0. We'll be right back. Champions Oksana Bayul, Victor Petrenko, and others will perform routines from their gold medal winning victories. The Bank of America celebration of gold starts after our game right here on Fox. Ahmad Green, and he has been the gold standard for the Packers in the running game, picking up a couple of yards on 1st down. Total yardage in the game, and it's the Packers who have nearly 100 yards more than the Bears.
Similar situation to last week against Detroit. Chicago outgained by Detroit, but able to hang in there from a score standpoint and pull that game out late. And this is the mentality. This is how they play their football games, and it's kind of unfolding. Green Bay missed an opportunity with a field goal on their last drive.
Of the Packers' 5 possessions, 4 have started from inside their 20. 2nd and 7. There's Favre with the familiar pump fake, getting rushed and firing it and completing it to Corey Bradford. And Bradford getting up, gets away from the first tackle attempt and is finally stopped at the 31-yard line, getting 14. Parrish finally got him.
You watch the job that Corey Bradford does on this play. Just a smart play on his part. Brett Favre was in the back of the pocket. Brett Favre is running around now looking, and Corey Bradford just as subtle. He stays in his spot, starts working back towards the sideline, giving Brett Favre a place to throw the football. And when you see Brett running around and making plays, a big part of the reason he's making these plays is because these receivers are giving him places to throw the football.
1st down on the 32 of the Packers. Hand off to Ahmad Green off the left side, gets a good opening, and Green diving to the 45-yard line. Tony Parrish, and another 14-yard pickup. Successive 14-yarders for Green Bay.
You see right here, Earl Dotson does a nice job coming in. He's been doing a good job in practice, his first time to play. And you'll see William Henderson sealing the inside, Mark Tosher, all these guys working together to get Ahmad Green down into the secondary.
Ahmad Green, over 1,000 yards rushing, 3rd player in Packer history with consecutive 1,000 yards years. Jim Taylor did it 5 in a row. John Brockington 3 years in a row. 2-minute warning in Lambeau Field. The Pack leads the Bears 7-0.
Fox.
Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris with scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up to the second stats. You know, the way this game has gone with Favre doing his thing, you think it'd be 21-0. It's only 7-0 right now, even though the Packers have been the only team with flair out there. 2-minute warning, 1st and 10 at the 47 of the Green Bay. Favre, flag is down, and the pass is intercepted. And the pass intercepted by Walt Harris, and he carries it inside the 40-yard line, the first penalty of the game. And Favre signaling that it should be a defensive holding call. And we'll see what the referee Ron Winter declares here.
Well, based on where the flag was thrown, I don't think it's going to be defensive holding, at least in the secondary.
Bears defense remains on the field, and that's it. It's not holding, but it's an offsides call against the Chicago Bears.
Offside. Number 27 defense in the neutral zone at the snap. A 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
A critical penalty, the first one, and it's a bad one for the Bears.
Well, it's a critical penalty in that it's a corner. Walt Harris, you see him right there at the bottom. He's the one who got called for being offsides. You don't see that from a corner very often, and obviously a very costly penalty at this point.
Not many people get called for offsides and then make the interception on top of that.
Well, it nullifies the turnover, and so far back in business with a 1st and 5 at the 49-yard line, and then we'll have a legal procedure, actually a false start penalty coming up.
Number 83 offense.
Against
5-yard
David
penalty.
Martin.
Remains first down.
So the rookie David Martin cost the Packers 5 yards back to their own 46.
Well, they get the 5 yards back, but unfortunately for the Bears, they don't get the interception on the previous play because of the penalty they made.
But how Walt Harris line up in the neutral zone as a cornerback and nullifying what could have been a big situation for the Bears. Meanwhile, 1st and 10 now. Back on the 47 on the design rollout, and Favre is going to be sacked for a big loss back to the 31-yard line. That is a 10-yard loss thanks to Brian Urlacher, the all-pro middle linebacker.
Well, this is really where he's at his best. Brian Urlacher right there. He's going to come in late, a little bit of a delayed blitz, and they're not looking to block him. And when he's able to rush the passer, especially when they don't get bodies on him, he's a difficult one to avoid. Brett Favre had no opportunity there.
Boy, Chad Clifton, he bought that wholesale pitch right there by Brian Urlacher because he delayed blitz and he was looking right at him. As soon as he didn't come at the beginning, Chad Clifton turned his eyes away, and then Brian Urlacher came right behind him.
Yeah, and the speed of Urlacher was still allowed him to get there.
2nd and 21, running play Amon Green. Green getting a lot of it back as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Mike Brown makes the tackle, and an 11-yard pickup.
And here's a look at it after that last sack, Urlacher and Brett Favre. And, yeah, I don't know what Brett Favre has it about defensive players, but a lot of jawing goes on. You know, obviously you talk about Brett Favre and Warren Sapp last week in the Monday night game, and now him and Urlacher exchanging words.
Well, he's going to lose Sapp with the realignment, so he's got to find a new guy in the division to have a little battle with.
You gave everyone the cold shoulder.
I didn't talk to anybody.
3rd and 10 for the 47, as long as you talk now. Pass is picked off by Urlacher. Brian Urlacher downfield, showing some speed, and he is out of bounds. Amon Green knocks him out of bounds at the 12-yard line of the Packers. So Green getting a life when Harris was guilty of the penalty, gets burned again by Urlacher's pick.
Well, and what's great about it is Brett Favre has been known to elevate his play whenever he gets an exchange of words with players. Now I think Urlacher is that same kind of guy. He comes back, drops right in. Brett Favre never sees him. He's trying to go to Antonio Freeman with the throw, and Brian Urlacher covers a lot of ground in there in the middle linebacker position and has great speed on the return.
3rd interception of the year for Urlacher, and he returns at 41 yards. That's right, Brett. Where was he and where did he go? But the Bears now with a 1st down on the 17 is where Urlacher went out of bounds. 7-0 Packers. 32 seconds to go. Bears have all timeouts remaining. Here is Jim Miller going underneath, and it's dropped by Anthony Thomas.
Well, he slipped on his route, got his weight a little bit back on his heels, fell down, disrupted the whole timing of that. But again, they're clearing out areas just to throw the ball underneath. They have gotten totally outplayed this half. There's 20 seconds left to go. They've got an opportunity to get back in the game, and they're just sticking with this passive attack. John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, if he's anything, he's stubborn and consistent.
Well, and they had a chance. They had a chance with Marty Booker working one-on-one against Mike McKenzie in the corner of his end zone for a touchdown.
Marty Booker hasn't caught a pass yet. 2nd and 10 at the 17. Miller. And this one caught by Thomas. And Thomas down to the 15-yard line. So a gain of 2 yards with Mike McKenzie defending. Looks like they're playing for a field goal, but the Bears are going to call a timeout. 20 seconds remain in the half. Caught a pass, but he could have caught a couple there.
Yeah, these last 2 plays that they run, they've put Marty Booker in the corner, and he's had an opportunity, and they've not gotten him the ball. And it'll be interesting to see if they try to come back with it again here.
3rd down and 7 from the 14. Miller. And Miller has Baxter, the tight end, and he's tackled at the 5-yard line. It'll be enough for the first down, but 12 seconds left as we check in with Pam Oliver. Pam.
All right, Dick, some of the Bears defensive personnel in agreement with Moose about the stubbornness of John Shoup. They were screaming at him to do something else, and Shoup screams at them, turns around and says, hey, I'm calling the plays. Calm down. Back to you.
There you have it. Who's the boss?
Well, you hear these defensive players for the Chicago Bears talk about, hey, they know what kind of game that they're going to play. They got to play great defense. You got to keep the score down, and they seem to be okay with that. But I can tell you, they'd much rather be playing great defense with a nice lead. And they want to see this offense score points and score touchdowns just as much as the offense does.
And we had talked to them. When you talk to the guys on the defense, we say, well, how does it feel to be that you're the side of the ball that has to control the flow of the game? All the pressure is on your shoulders. They seem to like it, but as you pointed out, it's going to be frustrating at times for them.
Well, it's 1st and goal at the 5. More important, 12 seconds to go in the half. The Bears down to 1 timeout remaining. And here is Miller with the fade. And it's overthrown David Terrell. So now 8 seconds showing on the clock. That was McKenzie staying with Terrell.
Well, nice little design here. You can see David Terrell working against Mike McKenzie. He's going to run a fade route from the inside slot position. He's got him. He's got to step on him. And there's a lot of room there to throw that football. Jim Miller just misses him. But David Terrell is a big target. He's a guy that they want to try to get the ball to down there. He's 6'3". He's got a size advantage over most of these DBs that he's going to be faced against.
Dwayne Bates is into the game for the first time. James Allen, and there is Terrell, who has no catches. 2nd and goal at the 5. The clock, the key, and again they run the fade, and again it is overthrown. That is not a replay, folks. It was the same pass. Terrell covered by Williams this time, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Well, they had a shot at him once again, and that's something we've seen them at their practices. They spend time throwing that route, throwing the fade route, throwing the fade stop. They just didn't execute it there on the last 2 plays.
So the down is not important. The clock shows 4 seconds, and so Paul Edinger lining up for a 23-yard field goal attempt. And now the Packers have called a timeout. It's called icing. Let's see if it's on the cake. We're back after the Packer timeout, and Paul Edinger again attempting the 23-yarder with 4 seconds remaining in the half. Bears trying to get something before intermission, and this kick is no good. He hooked it. So the Bears were in great position to get a touchdown, and they missed the 23-yard field goal. Paul Edinger kicked it. That's the end of the first half. 7-0 Packers will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
This pick going to waste as Edinger misses a 23-yard field goal. Packers holding to a 7-0 lead.
All right, Warren Sapp, blow out a little steam, get ready to rumble in the jungle. There it is, out of the eye. Mike Alstott, watch this move. Little fake, not hardly. Just takes it, runs right over everyone. Todd Light in particular. Touchdown at 24 yards, 7-3. Bunks over the line.
Howie's got Marshall Faulk.
And a good road piece, Howie. Nice job. 4th and 1. Kurt Warner says, I am fed up with this offense. Bad call. Direct snap to Marshall Faulk. All of this for a 4-yard gain, but more importantly, a first down for the Rams. I like that. That's pretty good. Now, look to the left of your screen. Ricky Pearl on a post route, cross route underneath, pull the linebacker up, open up that 15-yard touchdown lane. And there you have it, 14-0. Then takes it in from the outside. Garrison Hurst. There's your touchdown run. 1 yard, 14-7. Rams over the 49ers at the half.
You like razzle dazzle?
Aaron Brooks, turn around, fake option, pitch it out. Duke McAllister, rookie, out of Ole Miss. Lobs it, Willie Jackson, 12-yard touchdown. We're tied up at 7-all until the ensuing kickoff. Derek Vaughn takes it up inside Howie, fumbles the ball. Steve Gleason recovers for the Saints, and then Ricky Williams from 1 yard out takes it in. Saints 14-10 over the Falcons at the half. Tiki Barber, smiling, grinning. I'm going to have a good day. Well, all right, do it. Out of the eye, up inside, bounces to the outside. Good blocking on the outside. All the way down to the 2-yard line. George Teague finally knocks Tiki out. Then out of the eye, then the gun. Kerry Collins to Marcellus Wilkins of 2 yards. 13-6 Giants over the Cowboys at the half.
LaDainian Tomlinson trying to become the first Charger since 1994. Natron Means to rush for 1,000 yards.
Carolina, out of the eye, Hundley, 2 yards, touchdown, 24-6. Why someone did not pick Carolina for a Porsche deal is just beyond me. I seriously gave it some thought.
Seriously. Tennessee looking for its 10th straight regular season win over an NFC opponent. And meanwhile, the Browns that is lead the NFL in interceptions with 26, but they're trailing by 7 to Brady and the Patriots. Jags and Bengals all knotted at 7. And, of course, Terry is a big basketball fan. That's why he said Duke as opposed to Deuce McAllister.
Did I say Duke?
I had to give you a check mark.
No. His nickname is the Duke.
Oh, Howie,
no,
go ahead, Howie. Go ahead.
You know, how long can the Chicago defense on the road hold the fort? It's been the same story all year. They don't stretch the field on offense, and when they're in position to make the throws, Jim Miller doesn't make the throws. They are a quarterback away from being a team that's a serious contender for all the money.
His nickname is the Duke.
It is as of right now.
Take a shot. I say, I'm buying it. Throw it right in there. 3 out of the last 4 games now, the Chicago's offense has scored less than 14 points. They are just so boring. You're in Green Bay. You've got a chance to win your division. Everything's on the line. And hey, Dink, and throw it down the field. And Jim Miller, when you get a chance to make a play at the goal line, give your guy a chance. Throw the ball where he has a chance to catch a football. Inbounds. Give him a chance.
Now you know why maybe Angelo's holding back on signing Dick Geron. You know, this thing is
what does Dick Geron have to do with the offensive play calling?
You're exactly right,
and the
Howie. Not a dead blame thing. It's just
it's
a terrible first half for the Chicago Bears. They got to open it up.
Thank you,
21-7.
21-7. They need Duke McAllister.
You picked San Francisco in the Porsche deal.
I did.
Marshall Faulk, of course, with that touchdown for the Rams. Folks, as we step aside, Duke Bradshaw will be back with some more highlights that you guys will probably see a little later. But in the meantime, the Visa halftime.
Duke McAllister.
That they are still as in this ball game as what they are.
And you're right. When you look at Booker and Terrell, no catches today in the first half.
And those are the 2 playmakers on the outside. And if they are going to do anything different and are going to do something down the field, it's going to be David Terrell and Marty Booker.
From the 45-yard line, play action. Miller looking for a receiver and finally goes out to the running back, Anthony Thomas. That was a case in which Thomas getting 9 receivers might have been covered.
Well, they want to work in some play action, and you look at Des White. He's going to be working over the middle of the ball, and that's the guy that Jim Miller was looking to get it to. You see 3 guys come running to him, the linebackers, and that's what forced him to get the ball outside.
Miller 8 of 14 for a measly 52 yards. That was White's. Well, White has 2 catches. 2nd and 1 at the 46-yard line. They go to Thomas. First down, Chicago to the Green Bay 44. Cledius Hunt making the tackle for the Packers, starting in place of the injured John Theory. Gilbert Brown with turf toe tried to go today. He couldn't, and Jim Flanagan, the ex-Bear, starting at nose tackle. There is Gilbert Brown. 7-0, Green Bay leading Chicago. 162nd meeting. Bears with a first down on the Packer 43. Sharper coming in on the blitz, and the pass downfield. The legs got caught up, and it was Mike McKenzie and Marty Booker, as Miller had to get rid of it in a hurry because of Darren Sharper on the blitz. We know there's an interference call. Not sure of on whom.
Well, it certainly looked like Mike McKenzie. They got their feet tangled up.
Ron Winter. Right, McKenzie. First down, Chicago.
Pass interference. Number 34, defense. First down.
You know, Darren Sharper, he's going to be coming at the bottom of your screen. He goes for the run fake right there, which gives Jim Miller just enough time to let go of the ball. And here's the penalty. Mike McKenzie working against them. It's more their feet get caught up as opposed to McKenzie really shoving him right there, but they call it pass interference.
If he didn't have his hands on him, I think that gets ruled incidental contact, but because he had his hands on him, it makes it look a lot worse than it was.
That was a 24-yard penalty, and before the Bears run off another play, they'll call timeout. Early here in the second, Bears threaten but trail 7-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Well, you take a look at why Jim Miller had to call the timeout. They did not reset the 25-second play clock. Jim Miller very frustrated along with John Shoup, offensive coordinator. That's why he had to burn the timeout. That could come back and haunt them there at the end of this ballgame.
Using one early here in the second half in what has been traditionally tight games between these teams. You're right. Meanwhile, first down on the 19 of the Packers. And here is Anthony Thomas off the left side. Thomas inside the 5, and he'll go in. Let's see. No signal yet. And they say out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Des White, he played a role in this game.
Well, when you have some runs downfield, it's going to be your wide receivers, and Des White does a nice job right here on Tyrone Williams, invites him inside and then seals him. But watch Big Cat, number 71. There's your big offensive tackle right there, getting out in front and sealing the inside. That's a tremendous job by a big man.
It's also a touchdown. Here's the extra point by Paul Edinger, and the kick by Edinger is good barely, as he kind of hooked that extra point as well. So ultimately they did give the touchdown signal to Anthony Thomas, his 5th of the season, and we're tied 7-7. Anthony Thomas with a 19-yard touchdown run, and it's been a long drought for the Bears as far as TDs are concerned against the Packers, and you could almost say the Bears have the Packers where they want them, the way they play and the way the score is.
That is a great job by that offense coming out. The way that first half ended, they could have came out discouraged and flat. They come out and take the ball down the field for a touchdown.
They've done this all season long. The Squibber and Herbert Goodman back there to retrieve it for the Packers on the kickoff return. And he is hit and knocked down by Autry Denson at the 23.
We'll go back and take another look at the touchdown and watch the job that James Williams does right here. This is, this is Big Cat. This is the big man, and he's coming around. That's some great feet, some great agility. A seal on Bernardo Harris. Also Blake Brockemeyer out there on Cledius Hunt.
Yeah, and what set it all up was the pass interference called on Mike McKenzie right there. And then you got the touchdown coming back to Anthony Thomas. And Anthony Thomas coming off of that hamstring injury doesn't seem to be affecting him on that run.
Let's see what the Packers have for an answer early here in the third quarter. First down at the 23-yard line. Ahman Green cutting upfield. And Green getting about 4.5 yards. Ted Washington making the tackle. Ted Washington, who said he wants to beat Brett Favre. And why is that? College
well, they go way back. They go back to college and various games they played when Ted was with San Francisco and Buffalo, and he's only beat him one time, and it was back in college. And he told us that this game was meaningful for him because he wants to beat Brett Favre. He didn't say anything about leading the division. or what the playoff implications were following this game.
2nd down and 6 on play action. Favre going for Antonio Freeman, and he is covered by R.W. McQuarters. Actually, Washington played his college football at Louisville, read, of course, at Southern Mississippi. The only time he ever beat him was that one occasion, so he wants to chalk up a win, but he has been so big for this team.
Well, he's just been a great, forget about the fact that he's such a good player for this team, but he's been such a good locker room guy. Not only him, but also Keith Traylor. But Ted Washington has brought a lot of experience to this football team. He's brought a lot of leadership in explaining to these players who were not playing very good last year and getting them to raise their level of play, and it's obvious watching them this season.
Packers need 6 yards on 3rd down. They pick up the blitz. And Favre goes down, and it was Philip Daniels with the 2nd sack by the Bears today. So Daniels, who was hurt coming in, getting his 7th sack of the season.
Philip Daniels right there, and there's a little stun inside. It's a 2-man game. Amon Green gives him a little bump, but that's just a nice relentless job of continuing to move towards the quarterback by Philip Daniels.
Yeah, and that's something in their first meeting that they were unable to do. They couldn't get pressure on Brett Favre. Today they've sacked him twice, and they've done a nice job of hurrying and rushing Brett Favre, and you can tell by what's happened in the game that that's affected him.
And field position will be big for the Bears here as Bidwell's kick does take a Green Bay bounce, but it goes out of bounds with a flag down. And it goes out of bounds in Green Bay territory. The flag thrown back on the Packer 20-yard line. Been relatively penalty free, but as you mentioned, the pass interference hurt the Packers the last time. An ineligible man downfield for the Packers will naturally be
ineligible man
declined.
downfield on the kicking team. Number 88. Penalties declined. 1st down.
So good field position coming up now on the penalty on Bubba Franks. Well, the Bears now in a tie game will have the ball in the Packer territory. Those are Jim Miller's numbers. Anthony Thomas with the 19-yard touchdown run, also the leading receiver for the Bears. And the Bears, as they usually do, have the edge in field position. They've started twice in Packer territory the last 3 starts. They're on the Green Bay 45. 1st down. 2 tight end formation for Chicago, and Jim Miller will throw out of it and complete it to Marty Booker. And Booker straight arming the defender Bajou to a 1st down. First catch of the game for Marty Booker.
Marty Booker is a big wide receiver, and Bajou has to know that as he's coming across the middle, do not stay up high and get into his muscle. Come up and cut his legs out right there. He gets a taste of that stiff arm all the way downfield for a 1st down.
Yeah, and since Marcus Robinson went down for the season, Marty Booker has really been their go-to guy, their deep guy, their possession guy. He does it all for this football team.
Amazing, they've only gone to him once. 1st and 10 at the 35 of the Packers. And there's the pitch to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas is tackled by Chris Gizzy, who came in for Nate Wayne, who will not return, had a bruised hip in the 1st half and is out. Well, next Saturday it'll be the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Giants, both with playoff hopes but slim as they may be. Jake Plummer and Kerry Collins, the respective quarterbacks for that game, starting 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. Giants are winning. They're defeating the Dallas Cowboys, and the Eagles also leading against San Diego. And here is Miller taking a shot downfield, and the pass is nearly intercepted, broken up by Tyrone Williams, intended for the rookie David Terrell.
Well, Jim Miller got away with one there. David Terrell working against Tyrone Williams. Tyrone Williams was always up on top of him. A nice job as a corner, staying on top of the receiver.
And Vonnie Holliday is a guy, he slips inside. Blake Brockemeyer right there defeats Anthony Thomas on his way to Miller. We got bounced around like a pinball, but he's still coming all the way. And they're the point that Troy's talking to you about. Tyrone Williams with a chance for a big play, lets it slip through his hands.
Yeah, and when you're in a game like this, a big game, those are the plays that you got to come up with.
How about now, 3rd and 7 for a big play in this 3rd quarter. From the 32-yard line, and the screen pass, and unable to get it to James Allen. Miller had to get rid of it as he was pushed back Jim Flanagan put the pressure on, even with Baja Villamilla in there and the rookie Jamal Reynolds as well.
Well, they brought a whole bunch of people right there. You know, Jim Flanagan, he's able to get some pressure on him. Baljew is also going to be working up inside there, number 21. You got 3 guys rushing Jim Miller and not allowing the play to develop and getting it to James Allen.
So the Packer defense stiffens and forcing Brad Maynard to kick. He'll be booting it from about the 45 of the Packers. Darren Sharper is back at the 10. You know what Maynard wants to do, just keep it in play, going for the sideline. And the Bears are back there, and he does the job. I'm not going to say what Dick Duran said.
Well, is there any question that Brad Maynard's the MVP of this team right now?
I sense some more sarcasm.
Mike Brown was downfield.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. By Energizer, do you have the bunny inside? By Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by the Braun Synchro System. Braun, designed to make a difference.
Ball on the 1-yard line. Marco Rivera back at right guard for the Packers. First down after the great punt by Maynard. Amon Green, nothing. Let's go back and look at the Green Bay Packers. They started off like a house of fire on their first possession. Favre hit Freeman on the 64-yard drive, and then look what's happened since then.
Well, not a lot's happened for them. They get the 1 9-play drive, and then they go 61 yards and miss the field goal. And this is a game, as you can tell, that the missed field goals by each team, when you get a chance to get down there and get points, you've got to be able to come away with them. 2nd and 9 from the 2. 7-7 here in the 3rd. Favre gets a pressure, and his pass intended for Bradford incomplete. Well, the big thing right here that the Packers have to try to do is they've got to at least get a first down so that they give their punter room to punt the ball if they don't on 4th down. And it's extremely critical that they do that. And they're trying to take some shots. It was a good call right there, just trying to give themselves an opportunity. But they've got to get some yards here.
One of the things we're seeing right now is kind of a change in the emotion of both of these teams. The Packers flat, the Bears getting a little bit more excited because, as you pointed out, Dick, this game is starting to fall into a classic Bears kind of football game.
Didn't look that way at the end of the first half, but it does now. 3rd and 9. Out of the shotgun. Dorsey Levens is in the backfield as well. This is a big play for Green Bay. And Favre looking for help, and the pass is caught, but they won't get the first down. Dorsey Levens knocked out of bounds by Mike Green. And some room for the punter, but not a heck of a lot.
Well, that's just an outstanding job by the Bears defensive unit right there, and pinning them down. Brad Maynard pinning them down in there, and then the Bears defense taking advantage of that and not allowing the Packers to get a first down. Now the Bears once again will get the ball with great field position.
Josh Bidwell has a little bit of a room back there, and Leon Johnson standing at midfield for the Bears. And this kick will bounce at the 36, and the Bears will let it die right there at the 41 of Green Bay. 5 minutes have gone by in the 3rd quarter. Crowd getting a little antsy. 7-7. Big game here in the 3rd quarter. The Bears and Packers with first place at stake in the NFC Central. Visiting team has won the last 6 times they've played. Packers beat the Bears in Chicago. And this game will go a long way to deciding the NFC Central winner and maybe home field advantage in postseason. 1st and 10 at the 41 for the Bears in Green Bay territory. Jim Miller's pass, and it's caught by Fred Baxter, the tight end, and a flag is down back at the 45-yard line. Baljew making the stop, and this one may go against the Bears, and it'll nullify the first down pass.
Holding. Number 78 offense. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And that's Blake Brockemeyer. You'll see him up here as your tackle going against Cletus Hunt, and he gets a little bit of forward there, and he just takes him right to the ground. That's not even holding, that's tackling right there.
So the 14-yard pickup is nullified, and now the Bears back in their own territory on their 49, facing first down and 20. 3 wide receivers, and the screen to Des White. And White cutting through some traffic, getting back to the original line of scrimmage. Williams on the tackle, and that will bring up second down at the 41 of the Pack.
Well, the biggest thing you're starting to sense right now here in the second half is you can just sense the confidence that this Bears offense is starting to play with, and having some success moving the football, the way they're executing, the way they're able to get the ball outside to these wide receivers in space, let them do something with it.
And they certainly have picked it up. 54 total yards, -1 for Green Bay. Second and 10 at the 41. And here comes the charge, and the sack is made, and nearly a fumble. Bernardo Harris timed it perfectly and got Jim Miller. And fortunately, the Bears did not make the connection on the handoff. Otherwise, they might have coughed it up.
Bernardo Harris hit that. He hit that with perfect timing. Jim Miller had no chance whatsoever. You're going to see him working right there. No one touches him, and Jim Miller does a great job of not even trying to make the handoff. Bernardo Harris hitting him right there. Jim, knowing that it's a dicey play, does a nice job of just falling on it and not turning a bad play into a worse play.
3rd and 16. Out of the shotgun, the pass thrown underneath, and it's caught, but it means nothing. It was Fred Baxter to the 45-yard line. So now the Packers, who had to defend on their own 41 against the Bears, actually picked up 4 yards as a punting situation coming
Santana
up.
Dotson, you know, he's usually one of your interior rushers. He's actually dropped back into the linebacker level, and well, he broke on the ball when it was completed. That looked pretty good for Santana playing at the linebacker spot.
Brad Maynard will be kicking. Charles Lee is back deep, end over end, and Lee will let it bounce. It takes a Chicago bounce, and the Bears are going to nail the Packers again deep in their own territory, this time at the 9. Well, Brett Favre has had some of his best games against the Bears. 39 touchdown passes. Bad ankle in 95, and he still could find the target. 5 touchdown passes in that game, and a Packer 35-28 win. I don't think we'll get a score that high today. I'm just guessing, with 7:42 remaining in the 3rd. But that was Favre against the Bears at his best back in 95, and that's the last time the Bears had a winning year. Now the Packers starting from the 9-yard line on play action. Favre fires it, and he completes it to Bubba Franks. A gutty pass by Favre with the defender in his face, and he nails Franks downfield for a gain of 20 yards.
Well, that's just an outstanding play by a great player in Brett Favre, and he works out here to the left. And you're going to see Carl Powell jumping up, trying to bat the ball down. Brett pulls it down. He wanted to go to William Henderson, the fullback, but Bubba Franks does a nice job of getting into the hole, and a nice job by Brett Favre spotting him.
They get it out to the 29-yard line. The Pack gets out of trouble there. And this pass out on the flat, and it's William Henderson who was hit immediately by R.W. McQuarters for a 3-yard pickup.
That last play to Bubba Franks is just a big play, because you heard Coach Sherman talk to Pam Oliver coming out at halftime, and one of his concerns was getting field position back. And this whole half, they have struggled deep in their own end. That one big play will enable them to get out, and if they don't even get another first down, at least change field position a little bit with a good punt.
2nd down and 7. Ahman Green. A loss of 1. And right now, a game break with James Brown. JB.
Hey, Dick, Darrell Johnston blocked for a lot of these right here. A 1-yard run by Emmitt Smith. His 44th career 1-yard TD run. Key play, 41-yard reception by Rocket Ismail. All tied at 13. And Terry Bradshaw wants to know if Darrell Johnston is taken to dinner by Emmitt. Back to Dick.
No, I haven't gotten that meal yet, Terry.
No, he got a Rolex watch, though.
That was a defensive tackle in there leading him at fullback now.
Hope you declared that. 3rd down and 8 at the 31-yard line for the Packers. Again, out of the shotgun. Favre drills it. And the pass is caught after a bobble by Corey Bradford. What a catch by Bradford. 16 yards to the 46.
It doesn't get a whole lot better than that right there. Corey Bradford working in on a square in, bobbles the ball, but has a presence of mind and concentration to pull that thing in. Just a great play by Corey Bradford.
And the Packers for the first down on their 47, and they're going to whistle this play dead. Well, I'll tell you, on style points, there's no question the Packers are ahead in this game, but the scoreboard is even at 7-7. And now they're going to challenge, and they're going to challenge the previous play, and they got the challenge in before the snap. Packers try to hurry it up to get the play off, and they could not do it. So Ron Winter will explain the deal here.
Well, here it is.
Chicago was challenged, ruling on the field that the pass was complete.
Right there as he's going down. From that angle there, it looked like he had his arm underneath the ball, and it would in fact be a completion.
Now it could touch the ground if they feel that he had control of the ball, Moose.
He has to establish possession before the ball hits the ground. The ground cannot help him establish possession. As you're pointing out, Dick, if he does have control of this, it can hit the ground and be called a catch.
Now remember, it has to be indisputable evidence to reverse the call of a completion.
Boy, is that's a great effort by Corey Bradford right there, staying with that the whole time. I have yet to see anything that would reverse it, and I don't think there would be any reason. I think that's just a great effort and a great catch by Corey Bradford.
Interesting that the Bears, who have used a timeout earlier, and they thought that the play clock wasn't in order, now if this challenge goes against them, would be left with 1 timeout for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, that would leave them with 1, and as you know, in a game like this, a tight ball game, those timeouts become extremely important late in games.
Especially in the Bears style of play, that you would think the timeout with a conservative offense and the way they do things. But again, if it's an incomplete pass, Dick Geron may feel, if strongly from his people upstairs, that they would overrule that. Again, the field position would still be in good shape.
I think that in this situation on that play, I do agree with Dick Geron making the challenge. I think that that's one of those plays that is close enough. It's a meaningful enough play that you definitely want to challenge the call. I think what comes back is what we mentioned earlier when they had to call the timeout because of the play clock. And whether or not the official had reset it properly or not, that's going to be the timeout that hopefully doesn't come back and hurt them at the end of this game.
Right.
But as Moose said, I don't see anything from what we've seen here that would indicate that he did not have possession of the ball.
Remember that if they rule this incomplete and reverse the call, it would be 4th down. So not only are you looking at getting the ball back, but it would be a punting situation for the Packers. So I think your point, Troy, really valid. It's not so much challenging this, it's that other timeout earlier that might affect Chicago down the stretch.
One of the guys that seemed to have had the best vantage point on the whole play was Bill Schrader, and he gave it the thumbs up immediately on the catch.
Well, here's Ron Winter. Crowd reaction will reflect it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. There is no indisputable evidence to indicate that the pass was not complete. Completed pass.
So the
Chicago
Bears are
charged with a timeout.
With 1 timeout left. Well, Mike Sherman is not quite as conservative as Dick Geron reaction-wise. Yeah.
Well, I think he understands as well as anybody what that meant as far as the timeouts go. And as you mentioned, Dick, it keeps this drive alive.
And a first down for the Packers on their 47-yard line. 5:12 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And that's the big thing, the Packers' 47-yard line. They have had horrible field position this whole 3rd quarter. Right. And another one of the things that I'm sure Mike Sherman was very relieved, his team's finally out near midfield.
What's this like to be out in this?
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've been out this way.
First down, Ahmad Green with Henderson blocking, and Ahmad Green breaks one. Mike Brown, the only guy to have a shot, and he knocks him out of bounds with the tackle inside the 25-yard line. So they get the call and the 30-yard run on first down.
This is just a great job. Watch William Henderson come around. They seal the inside. They kick out on the outside. That is textbook blocking to create a nice running lane for Ahman Green.
Now you watch Antonio Freeman, another receiver blocking downfield, does just enough in order to spring him and get him on the big gain. And that's the Packers' philosophy. They feel like if they give the ball enough times to Ahman Green, sooner or later, he's going to make the big gain.
86 yards, 17 carries for Ahman Green, who goes in motion to the right on first down from the 23. And there is Schrader. He's got it. And Schrader, no signal yet. And now they say out of bounds. Schrader caught the ball but could not keep both feet in bounds. And it will go as an incomplete pass, but that was a pretty toss by far.
Well, and Brett knew that he had a shot at him. You watch him right here. Bill Schrader running a slant and go, double move, working against Walt Harris, and he has it in his hands and should make the play.
I challenge it.
It's close enough. Does he have possession when he crosses the goal line? And they are going to challenge the play.
Got to.
That's the key right there. Does he have possession? There's nothing there that indicates that he has. I don't think he had possession at all.
Well, you're right. That angle there really shows it clearly that he never really had control of that football.
He kept his feet in, but he didn't have possession. So.
Well, and now you're going to go back to, I don't see how they overturned that calling right there. Actually, a very good call by the official. And Bill Schrader is a guy who, in talking with Mike Sherman yesterday, he always seems to make the big play. But he's very inconsistent in doing that. And right here, a beautifully thrown ball by Brett Favre, and he's just unable to control the ball and get it in there for the touchdown.
All he has to do is control it enough to cross the plane.
Control it just enough. But if you watch here, Dick, I don't think there was ever, he never had possession of the ball at any point.
I agree. And it would cost the Packers a timeout if they uphold the ruling that it was an incomplete pass. No way he has control.
Not what we're seeing, unless they're seeing something that's different than what we're seeing. Bill Schrader never had possession of it. So now, we talked about the timeout situation. We'll obviously wait and see what it is that they rule on this. But in the event that this challenge is not overturned, then the Packers will also lose a timeout.
Well, we saw the reaction when from Mike Sherman when the last challenge.
Yeah, something tells me if they don't overturn this one that he's not going to quite have that same reaction.
But what about Dick Geron's reaction?
Well, if Dick,
turned it down.
Neither one of these guys are the most emotional coaches in the National Football League, but we'll keep an eye on Dick and see what he thinks about it if they don't overturn the call.
They're both Boston natives. They both coached in the New England area. Mike Sherman has more of the New England accent than Dick Geron does, who played at Yale from Swampscott, Massachusetts. And in fact, we asked Mike Sherman, how come you have the New England accent and Dick Geron doesn't? He says, well, he went to Yale and I didn't, but I don't quite understand that.
And Dick Geron's certainly no stranger to Lambeau Field. He coached here for the Packers for a number of years and then going on to Chicago. And this is not new grounds for him here at Lambeau.
You know, Geron, very stoic guy, as is Mike Sherman, and his high school coach, legendary coach Stan Bondalevich at Swampscott, once described Dick Geron as a gentleman, but a gentleman who hits hard. No hitting needed there. That was just a picture, and terrific by our crew, but we're used to that. They've been doing this for 8-9 years. Here comes Ron Winter.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The receiver never maintained control of the ball throughout the process of trying to establish a catch. The pass is incomplete. Green Bay is charged with a timeout. Second down.
Packers first time out of the second half, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. They have 2 remaining, does Green Bay, and the Packers were on the 24-yard line of the Bears. Packers have had the edge in yardage. Score is tied. From the 24, Favre looking to throw, goes underneath, and he completes to William Henderson. Henderson is knocked down at the 15-yard line, about 1.5 yards shy.
He's quietly had a very productive day for Green Bay today, doing some things in special teams with that opening kickoff, establishing good field position, done well in the blocking part during the course of the day, and now getting a chance in the passing game to contribute. So one of those guys that goes unsung during the course of the game. You don't see his name show up a whole lot in stats, but pretty important today.
And as you just mentioned, a very unselfish player, and you know, you look at the great fullbacks in the game of football, they're guys that are very unselfish people.
David Martin in, extra tight end, handoff to Amon Green, and Green dives for the first down. Packers with a first down at the 13 of the Bears. Brian Robinson making the stop. And now as we wind down to 3.5 to go in the third, the Packers looking to take the lead, but only 2 touchdowns in this game on the opening drive. Brett Favre hitting Antonio Freeman with a 3-yard toss, and then Anthony Thomas going off the left side for 19 yards here in the third quarter, and that's been it. 7-7. Each team has missed a field goal, and now the Packers with a first down on the 12. And they give it to Green. Green going wide. Green running to the 5. He'll score. Touchdown. Walt Harris missed the first chance at Amon Green, who goes 12 yards to give the Packers the lead again.
Again, it's William Henderson out in front. You'll see him come across in motion, then go back underneath. Watch the adjustment right there to come around the top and seal Warwick Holman. Again, just quietly going about his job today. Marco Rivera battling that broken hand. He's the first one out there. Very athletic group in the offensive line.
And the extra point by Ryan Longwell is good. And with 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, the Packers have taken a 14-7 lead. Amon Green, who came in second in the NFC in rushing, getting his 6th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, and on that play there, you talk about the job William Henderson did, but Walt Harris, the corner for the Bears, he has an opportunity to come up and try to make the tackle. You're going to see him working up right there in your screen. He over pursues it, allows Amon Green to cut up inside. Missed another tackle on the first down to William Henderson on the pass that helped set up this touchdown. And then you take a look at Bill Schrader, again, another wide receiver getting involved in the mix, working against Mike Brown. Mike usually the guy filling the spot to make those tackles, but Bill Schrader's in a position to block him, which also responsible for Amon Green scoring the touchdown.
And remember, the Packers have had the short end of the field position game today, the hidden yardage contest. They went 91 yards. Remember, they started from the 9-yard line, and the 30-yard run was huge for Amon Green, who caps the drive with a touchdown, and it's 14-7 Green Bay. Longwell with a long kick, or a low kick, I should say, and it's picked up by Leon Johnson. And Leon Johnson will recover somewhat and bring it out to the 39-yard line. Well, Fox Tuesday, the season's biggest thrill ride, is just getting started. Catch Kiefer Sutherland in a new episode of 24 this Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, right here on Fox. Every second counts. Nate Wayne, who injured his hip in the first half, unable to continue. Chris Gizzy taking his place at outside linebacker. Bears at the 39-yard line, now trailing again by a touchdown, and the give is to Anthony Thomas, and the Packers knock him back. He'll get credit for a yard gain on the forward progress, and it was all led by Vonnie Holliday.
Well, you'll get to see what this Lambeau home field advantage means right now. The emotion now swinging back into the Packers' favor, the fans back into this football game. And this is one of the key elements playing up here as a visiting team. This crowd really does make things difficult for your offense.
Packers have won 13 of the last 15 against these teams, and Green Bay so big at home, especially in the month of December. 2nd and 8. Here is Miller, picked off. Darren Sharper on the interception. Sharper still on his feet, gets into Bear territory and will settle for that. Marty Booker was downfield, but the pass was underthrown, and Darren Sharper picks it off for the Packers.
Yeah, Dick, and that's what pressure will do. It'll make a quarterback throw it early. They're going to be coming with the blitz right up the middle there, the linebackers, and it makes Jim Miller have to get rid of this football much sooner than what he wanted. It looked like he was trying to throw it to the outside. It sailed high on him. Underthrown. Marty Booker not able to come back and get it, and then Darren Sharper intercepting that play. And it all began because of the pressure that was put on Jim Miller at the line of scrimmage.
That is Darren Sharper's 4th interception to take over the team lead from Nate Wayne. And now Brett Favre at midfield with the Packers leading by a touchdown. And the handoff to Amon Green, and no gain on the play. Keith Traylor right in the middle.
Well, Darren Sharper, he's having an outstanding season and is playing extremely well. That's his 4th interception of this season, a Pro Bowl player from last year, and he's had to take on a lot of the responsibilities of once Leroy Butler went down. There's Leroy Butler right there talking to Darren Sharper, and Darren's responsibilities have picked up, and he's handled them extremely well since Leroy Butler's injury.
2nd and 10 from midfield. Final minutes of the 3rd quarter. Favre on the screen has Amon Green, and green jerseys blocking in front. But Brian Urlacher comes out of nowhere, it seemed, to make the tackle, but not before the Packers get another first down inside the Bears 40.
And the Packers are probably one of the best screen teams I've seen this year in the NFL. They had the big play last Monday night late in the game to get down there with a chance to go ahead by 7. They've had the big screen pass earlier in the game today to jumpstart a drive, and they just get everybody cleared out. They catch people in man coverage. They get the receivers downfield, and the linemen get out. And everybody has talked about this offensive line being athletic. They show their athleticism out there in front.
Spreading the ball around is Brett Favre today. As Green goes out and Dorsey Levens comes in the game. Play action and the sprint out. Favre. Well, it looked like Monday night, only from farther out when he went over for the winning touchdown. This time Roosevelt Colvin makes the stop, but Favre picks up 8 yards on that scurry.
Well, Brett has lost a little bit of a step over the years, but he's still able to get outside and make some things happen. We saw it last week in the Monday night ball game against Jacksonville. We see it again right here.
And the quarter will end with the crowd on his feet, and Favre getting 8 yards. And the momentum has shifted dramatically back into the Green Bay camp. That is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. Packers 14 and the Bears 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Miller hopes his interception doesn't come back to really hurt the Bears, who trail 14-7. Dick Stockton with Troy Aikman, Moose Johnston, and Pam Oliver here at Lambeau Field. It is 2nd and 2 for the Packers on the Bears 31. Dorsey Levens is the tailback, and Levens gets the handoff. First down and more. Dorsey Levens, showing some of his running skills of past years, gets it down to the 14 of Chicago. Tony Parrish.
Boy, Mike Brown comes up to the end of the line of scrimmage to force a run. He's right here. Watch William Henderson. That is a guy coming full speed. There's your block right there, back inside. He's just playing a really good game. Every time that they've gotten themselves into a position, William Henderson has made a play, no matter whether it's the kicking game or blocking, to really contribute to a successful play for the Packers.
Boy, you love it when the fullbacks are playing.
He's one of the last guys that they utilize the right way as a fullback in the NFL.
Amon Green back in there, and he gets his number called, and Green wins his way inside the 10-yard line. So Ahman Green.
Well, we had a chance to do a game a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that Ahman Green says he likes to do on Saturday night is watch a tape that he has of Walter Payton runs. And as a football player, there's little mechanisms you'll have to get your mind mentally right to play the football game. And for Ahman Green, it's watching the effort and the athleticism that Walter Payton used when he played the game of football. It always strives and makes him try and do what he did to emulate him on the field on the next Sunday.
Pretty good guy to copy and to look up to. 2nd down and 6 at the 10-yard line, and here is Green. And Green is knocked back by a couple of Bears led by Warwick Holdman, and Urlacher gets up as well. So 3rd down coming up for the Packers, who lead by a touchdown.
There you see Ahman Green going over 100 yards, and that was one of the things that the Bears really wanted to control during the course of the game today. They knew that Brett Favre would have an opportunity to make plays during the game because of the quarterback that he is, but their main focus was do not let Ahman Green get 100 yards. You just saw he went over 100 yards on that last run, so that was a key ingredient for this defense.
5th time he's done it this year. Brings up 3rd and 5 from the 9. Barb to Henderson, and Henderson fumbles. And it's now an incomplete pass. The Bears are saying he caught the ball. Most of the time they say no catch. They wanted the catch and the fumble.
Well, it looked like he did catch the ball, and it looked like he was extending it, trying to make sure he picked up the 1st down, which he had. You watch him here. Nope, he never had possession of the ball, and the ball came out. It was a nice call by the officials.
So a field goal attempt now. Ryan Longwell, who missed one from 41 yards out, and he has been struggling. This is a 27-yard attempt. Longwell has missed 8 field goal attempts this year. And this kick, that's going to help his confidence. 27-yarder by Longwell, and the Packers lead by 10, 17-7.
Series and S-Series. And by Levi's Boot Fit Jeans, not just for cowboys.
Packer fans, a lot to cheer about, leading 17-7, 12:40 to go in this 3rd quarter. Ryan Longwell, who kicked the field goal. Dorsey Levens had the big play, taking advantage of Darren Sharper's interception of Jim Miller's pass. And the Pack leading by 10. That's been the biggest margin of this game. And the kickoff to Autry Denson, returning for, that was Leon Johnson who returns the kick to the 39-yard line. Timeout, 12:31 to go in the 4th. On that side of the ball here in the 4th. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Jim Miller, and his pass on the crossing pattern is complete to David Terrell. Right now, let's check in with James Brown for a Fox game break.
Hey, Dick, take a look. Aaron Brooks is having himself a sensational day. Play action here. Troy, look at him uncork this one. 50-yard pass play to Joe Horn. Scott Ackerson, our producer, wants me to say there was no Phil Luckett to get him away. Score is good. 21-10. New Orleans over Atlanta. Dick, Troy, and Darryl.
Well, the Saints looking to go 7-5 and solidify what they hope will be a wild card berth. 2nd and 7, and Miller will throw from the 41-yard line and air it out, and overthrows Des White.
He had some guys in his face. Watch Jim Flanagan right here. He's relentless on his pass rush, whether it's one guy, 2 guys, double teams. He will continue to work his way all the way back to the quarterback. Great hustle guy.
And they finally allowed themselves to take a shot up the field, and just didn't really have much of an opportunity at that one. But that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to take some more shots through the remainder of this ball game, and more importantly, they're going to have to start converting some of those.
Marty Booker and David Terrell each with only 1 reception today. 3rd and 7, and Miller in trouble and got it away up the middle with only Packer defenders there. And the pressure by Kabir Bajabiamila.
Yeah, you take a look. He's coming down from Blake Brockermeyer, and he's able to just bull rush him right there with a power move and pushes Blake right back into Jim Miller, and then is able to get there and not get the sack. but obviously disrupt everything in the backfield.
We talked about his resemblance to not only the demeanor but the style of Charles Haley right there. One of the things, a speed rusher that can turn the quarter and all of a sudden throw a bull rush on a tackle.
Brad Maynard with the kick, and it will go into the end zone for a touchback. Kabir Bajabiamila had the stomach flu on Wednesday. You never thought he was sick ever in his life the way he was when we talked to him on Friday. When you come back here in a different role to Lambeau.
Well, this has been fabulous. And when you think about the NFL, you think about guys like Curly Lambeau and Vince Lombardi and the history of this storied franchise, and to be here and be doing a game here is just tremendous.
I know you've been caught up with what it is all about for Packer fans in this great stadium. And the Packers leading, and Amon Green leading the way and getting close to it, a first down on the handoff.
Well, and that's the guy, Amon Green, and we talked about it earlier in the ball game that that's the guy that you have to stop, and Chicago has not been able to do that. He's got 2 receptions for over 50 yards. He's run for over 100 yards already, and this is the guy you've got to be able to slow down and stop, or it's going to make for a long afternoon. And the more carries he gets, it seems the stronger he gets.
114 yards rushing. A touchdown. And a tremendous all-around game against a good defensive unit. And again, they go to Green, bounces off. Looks like Green's getting stronger as the game goes on. He picks up 6 yards with Mike Brown on the tackle.
Yeah, right now the Chicago Bears defense just cannot win against this Green Bay offensive line, and it's been one that's had some different lineups with Marco Rivera hurting his hand as we see Amon Green going off the field with possibly an injury to his hand. But we've seen Earl Dotson come in and play tackle, and Mark Tosher go down inside and play guard. And no matter what the lineup has been, the one thing that has been a constant is they have open running lanes in the running game for Amon Green.
And Marco Rivera on the sidelines now, so Tosher and Dotson are up there now, and the handoff is to Dorsey Levens. And Levens with his second effort, picking up close to 4 yards. Holdman and McQuarters making the stop.
Well, Amon Green getting worked on there, and he knew something was wrong. He's got a finger, it looks like it's dislocated or something. But you know, you talk about what Amon Green has meant. You talk about Brett Favre and the year that he's having. Brett Favre had his best years when Dorsey Levens was going awfully strong. He went through a couple of years, the past couple of seasons, where he was not as productive. But it's amazing how now that he's got another solid running back in Amon Green, how his own level of play has picked up as well.
2nd and 7, and Levens in there now, and on the fake, the rollout by Favre, and he throws the little dink pass. It's incomplete to Levens, who was out of bounds on the play. But you pointed this out when we started today about Favre and how he brings the team back and all the great comebacks, but the running back has set the tone for him.
Well, yeah, and you can see he's having a lot of fun this year, and he's a guy who just has fun playing the game anyway. But you're exactly right. So much of the focus is on what Brett Favre is doing, but there's a lot of reasons why this Green Bay team is having the year that it's having. Amon Green having the year that he's having. You look at the defense and Bajabiamila and those type of guys, and it all, you know, that's why football is the ultimate team sport. It takes everybody.
Ball control close to a big edge for the Packers, and on the pass, Corey Bradford, who made a tremendous catch. Now the Bears coming in saying that he trapped the ball, and it looks as if it'll be incomplete.
Looks like Corey's trying to make the point that he caught it down. As it goes through his arms, he still maintains possession with his legs. And I tell you what, I think he could be right. From that angle, it's hard to see. We'll see right here. You know, it does go through his arms and he gets it trapped in his legs, but does that ball ever hit the turf? I think he got up awful excited, but
there's a better look at it here.
Yeah, it looks like it touches right there.
4th down in a punting situation, and Josh Bidwell will kick. Leon Johnson back, and Johnson returning for the Bears, and he is down at the 29-yard line. So the Bears, 9:05 remaining, trailing the Packers by 10.
15 yards, and he's only thrown 4 over 15 yards, and they have got to be more effective throwing the football, intermediate and deep shots, and completing those if they're going to have any kind of chance getting back in this game.
And the handoff to Anthony Thomas And Thomas picking up about 4 on the play. This is the worst starting field position for the Bears since early in the game, and this is sounds like a broken record. I think we were talking about the same sentiment the last time these teams played at Soldier Field.
Well, we have. You talk about field position and where they're at right now, and this being one of the worst field positions they have had on any drive, yet they've not done with anything with the drives they've had before. And what happens is if you're in a close game, it's fine if you want to be conservative. But when you get in a game and you're down late in games, you don't then have the ability to make the big plays that you have to make.
2nd and 5. Here's Baxter on the crossing pattern. Baxter getting a first down for the Bears, just shy of midfield with Bernardo Harris downfield.
He's done a nice job today, a guy that I don't think a lot of people expected to have the contributions that he's had in the passing game. And you know, regardless of what happens today for the Chicago Bears, I think they found somebody else that provides them with some ability to get the ball down the field at the tight end position.
5 catches, 36 yards for the former New York Jet. Bears first down on their 48. Here's Thomas going wide. Packers penetrating, and a good play. This time Diggs coming in, Niall Diggs and Bernardo Harris as well. They've lost Nate Wayne due to injury, but those linebackers can run.
Yeah, Niall Diggs and Bernardo Harris just getting up there in that play. When you get penetration on the line of scrimmage and you start making running backs, especially Anthony Thomas, running laterally, it's hard for a big guy and a big body to get around the corner.
Well, these Bears face a deficit, but they're used to it. These are their 4th quarter comebacks this year, including the dramatic overtime wins against the 49ers and Browns, with Mike Brown being the hero in back-to-back games. 2nd and 13, and out of the backfield, Damon Shelton with his first play of the game, and bullying his way to the 45 of the Packers, 2 yards short of the sticks. Baoju and Chris Gizzi make the stop on Shelton.
Yeah, Baoju getting over there and making the play on that. And it's, you know, he's got an interesting story himself. He was a corner in college, and then with the injury to Leroy Butler, they moved him to safety. He had never played safety before, and he's really made a nice transition. And he's, you know, what he's had to learn is, like right there, the angles for him making tackles are much different as a safety than what they are when you're playing cornerback. 3rd down and 2. Leon Johnson doesn't get there. No gain on the play. Mike McKenzie coming up to force the play from the secondary, and that will bring up a 4th down and short. And I don't think there's any question what Dick Duran has to do here. There's no question at all at this point in the game that 6 minutes to play, you're down 10 points. You've got to go for it, and you've got to get the first down here.
Interesting, Stanley Pritchett just checked in for Damon Shelton, so I don't know if this is a play. This is one of his first plays of the football game right here in a very critical situation.
They need 3 yards. A short 3. Play action. Miller going deep, and he overthrows the tight end Fred Baxter by a good 8 yards. Marty Booker was also out there. And so the Packers hold on 4th down and take over on downs with 5:39 remaining.
Well, you got the play action with Jim Miller, and he gets plenty of time to throw this football and survey the field to see where he wanted to go. He actually could have tucked it and ran. There's Fred Baxter working one-on-one against Baoju, and the ball's overthrown. And as you can see, Mike Sherman, but those are the plays, those are the things that the Chicago Bears should have been showing in the first half of this ball game.
Well, how about just on the play right before that, on 3rd and 2? Take that shot on 3rd and 2 and come back with something with a little bit higher percentage on 4th and 2.
Well, it's first down, Packers on their own 45, leading by 10, and Amon Green with the carry trying to go wide, and he is run down, led by Warwick Holdman, but stayed in bounds, and the clock continues to run. Bears have lost 2 games. Their opener at Baltimore, and they lost to the Packers 4 weeks ago at Soldier Field. They had a 6-game winning streak after the first loss. They won 3 in a row coming into this one, and are in jeopardy if they do not come back of losing their lead in the division. It would be a tie for first place at 9-3 between the 2 teams. Packers would have the tie-breaking edge. 2nd and 9. They give it to Green again, using the clock, and a gain of 3. Ryan Robinson.
Well, rarely do you have a game that means this much in a regular season ball game, but as you mentioned, Dick, so much on the line for these two teams today, and in particular the Chicago Bears. If they are able to win this game, it pretty much seals their ability to win the division and get a first-round bye. And instead, you've got the Green Bay Packers. If they win, they're very much then in the hunt of winning the division and doing all the things that they want to do as a team getting into the playoffs.
They have kind of a favorable schedule, if you can say that in this day and age in football. The rest of the way. 3rd and 7. The handoff was to Levens, but there is a penalty marker down. The Packers will go to Tennessee.
Prior to the snap, false start, 68 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd
Mike
down.
Wall, 5 yards. So Tennessee, but then the Browns and the Vikings are home. And you know what the Packers do in December at Lambeau Field in a road game at the Giants. Nothing's ever easy in this league anymore, and that's not a scary schedule. Meanwhile, the Bears will play home at Tampa Bay, at Washington, at Detroit indoors, where they just squeaked by the Lions last week, and then the finish with Jacksonville. 3rd and 12 at the 43, following the 5-yard penalty against the Packers. Keep it on the ground to Levens, and Levens is tackled, leaving them 10 yards short of the first down. Brian Urlacher in there, so the clock now under 4 minutes to go. Bears will get it back, needing 10.
Well, it's going to take 2 possessions, and so they're going to have to be able to move this football rather quickly in order to get back into the game and give themselves a chance with potentially an onside kick, but a lot's got to happen between now and then.
Leon Johnson is back deep. Bidwell has had a terrific day punting. And they're letting that play clock run down. It's at 6 right now. They get it off with 2 on the clock, and the Bears coming in to try to get a piece of it. And here's Leon Johnson breaking a tackle, but getting to the 25, and that is all. Well, next Sunday we have a Fox NFL doubleheader coming your way. Most of you in the first game will see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still alive in the playoffs against the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. In the second half of our doubleheader, a battle between the Packers and the Tennessee Titans in the interconference way. And right now the Lions lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 12-7. The Lions can come close so many times, so much better than 0-11, and every team that's played them have said that, and they're going to break through one of these days.
Just an unbelievably resilient group right there. They have the frustrations they've had, but continuing to play hard. And there's a little bit of the comparison right there. And obviously, Brett Favre, almost the exact same numbers, but look at the difference in yards, doubling them almost.
From the 25, Miller going to Des White, has some room to run, and White will get the first down before he is forced out of bounds by Mike McKenzie.
Well, there's that drag route we've been talking about through the first half, and you know, it's a high possession play, a high percentage throw, but I just think that at this point in the game you have got to do something to get people going vertical, and everything they've completed has been running horizontal on this field.
1st and 10 at the 36. Miller again with time, and this pass up the middle intended for Baxter, and good coverage that time by Todd McBride, and it will be 2nd down.
I'm actually a little surprised, Dick, that they haven't gone to a no-huddle offense. Now, obviously the clock stops there with the incomplete pass, but it surprises me that they've not gone to a no-huddle with a little under 3 minutes to play.
Of all teams that would need the no-huddle right now would be the Bears, who have to get as many plays as possible. Marty Booker has 1 catch today. David Terrell also 1 catch, and that stands out in neon signs right now. 2nd and 10 at the 36. Miller, and this pass in and out of the hands of Fred Baxter. He was open, And it would have been a first down had he held on.
And that was one of the things that plagued the Chicago Bears last week against Detroit, were critical drops with opportunities to make big plays. And right there, Fred Baxter, with the opportunity to move the chains, has the ball go right through his hands.
Baxter has been a big target today for Jim Miller. In lieu of Marty Booker, who comes in third in the NFC in receiving. Drop passes haunting the Bears the last 2 games. 3rd and 10. Here's Des White. White is going to be stopped 5 yards shy of the first down by Mike McKenzie. And the Bears are going to use their last timeout right here. With 4th down coming up. Chicago is out of timeouts with 2:42 remaining. Dick Geron. Of course, his future is still up in the air, and I know that too sounds like a broken record, but Jerry Angelo has not made any comments. Votes of confidence for Geron despite the great start of the Bears at 9-2. There you see in his 3rd year after a 6-10 and 5-11 season. The Bears have been the surprise. Actually went in. Moose is the #1 seed in the NFC today.
Well, you know, the big thing about the system, the way the NFL is set up right now, is coaches need more time to have success. And with the players coming in and out and free agency, I don't think they have a lot. And there's Brett Favre again trying to get the crowd into it. But, you know, there has been a lot of talk. We've talked about the lack of respect for this football team, but I think the big thing is even with the head coach.
4th down and 5. This is it for the Bears to stay alive in this game, and this pass is incomplete. Darren Sharper picked it off, went out of bounds, but it's all the same for the Packers. They will take over on downs for the 2nd time here in the 4th quarter with a 17-7 lead, and the Bears out of first down, and Green Bay within 2.5 minutes of taking the lead in the division.
Well, here's David Terrell working up the field. Darren Sharper just sees it coming all the way and is able to undercut that. Has no chance whatsoever to complete that pass. And it seems like whenever they have tried to give themselves opportunities down the field, they've either had overthrows or they've had the interceptions.
So the Packers will take over on the 41 of the Bears with 2:37 to go. And
79 eligible.
Within brink of winning their 9th game of the year and moving into the lead in the division. Ahman Green trying to protect the ball, picking up a couple of yards. Packer losses were at Tampa Bay, at Baltimore, and home with Atlanta. 3 teams that the Bears beat. But the Packers on their way to beating the Bears for the 2nd time this year, and that is the key rivalry.
Well, it's a big win for the Green Bay Packers. And like we said, they would have been pretty much out of winning the division if they had lost here today. And just a great performance by a lot of various players on this football team to put themselves in this position to win this game today.
Well, the 2-minute warning here, and the Packers lead by 10, but we know the Bears' history this year. You got to get the 000s before you put the Bears away for sure. We'll be back. Remaining, and one of the heroes, Darren Sharper, whose interception, which ultimately led to a Ryan Longwell field goal as the Packers leading 17-7. The Bears are out of timeouts. It would truly take a miracle in this game, considering that fact. The handoff to Ahman Green. And we check in now with James Brown with a game break. JB.
Hey, Dick, the Bucks were losing in this one, 12-7 to Detroit with 45 seconds left. Brad Johnson hangs in, throws a catch, a touchdown catch to T-Shawn Johnson. That was his first TD catch of the season. We'll take you to that one, time permitting. Back to Dick, Troy, and Daryl.
The last guy that wants to be shown there is Matt Millen, who was our partner for 7 years. And, you know, he knows it's the first year of what is going to be a situation of a growing team in the next 3 years. But he's got more airtime this year than he did last year. 3rd and 8 at the 39-yard line. And here is Amon Green tripped up at the 40, but the Bears can't stop the clock. Ted Washington in on the play as we wind down to a minute to go.
Well, I think the big thing today is getting an opportunity to talk to the coaches. The Packers were able to do the things that they wanted to do, and the Bears obviously were not able to do the things they wanted in their game plan. Number one being the ability to get yardage in big chunks. They fell behind early. You just see some of the touchdowns, missed opportunities.
And there is Amon Green, who having a brilliant game, going over 100 yards rushing for the 5th time this year. Half a minute remaining, and we're going to let the clock run down, and it is 4th down, and the play clock ran down. Delay of game, 5 yards. Antonio Freeman, who caught the short pass but had a 33-yarder to set up the first score of the game. The Bears tied it up in the 3rd quarter, 7-7. The momentum seemed to shift their way, especially with field position guys, and then the Packers took hold of their throats.
That 91-yard drive in the middle of that 3rd quarter, obviously the big turning point in this football game this afternoon.
Josh Bidwell punting it into the end zone for a touchback. 18 seconds to go in the game. The Green Bay Packers will go to 9-3 on the year. Bears will drop to 9-3, but the Packers, by sweeping the season series, Mike Sherman's team right now taking over the lead in the NFC Central Division.
That's the big thing, is that they're tied right now with Chicago, but the biggest thing is that they hold the tiebreaker advantage, and that was the big thing about this ball game. The Packers are very much alive in getting home field advantage in a 1st round bye.
Jim Miller with 17 seconds to go has Marty Booker, and Marty Booker flips to James Allen, and too little too late, of course, as the time is going to run out. So for the first time in 7 games, the home team wins in this rivalry. The Packers do it. They have won 14 of 16, and cause for celebration at Lambeau as the Packers beat their keen rivals, and Brett Favre runs off the field after the Packers defeat the Chicago Bears 17-7. Troy Aikman and Darrell Johnston and Pam Oliver, Dick Stockton saying so long from Lambeau Field. The final score, Packers 17, the Bears 7. We are going to get to the conclusion of the game between the 49ers and the Rams. Pat Summerall and John Madden are there for the finish of that game. From here.